We are Ranchero Gold, ticker symbol RNCH, and we trade on TSX Venture Exchange. Our flagship asset is a 100% owned Santa Daniela gold project located in the heart of the Sierra Madre Occidental Gold Belt. When we acquired the asset, there was a couple of things that we really liked about it. First off, it's a project that has seen historical production dating back to the 1600s. The second thing we really like about it is the fact that it is part of a much bigger gold system. And I think we've seen many examples of mining companies having success and making new discoveries whenever they're working within these big systems. Red Lake for Goldcorp back in the day, and more recently, Fosterfield for Kirkland Lake. In terms of investment highlights, we own the largest unexplored land package in a very prolific gold belt. We are next door neighbors with Agnico Eagle and Alamos Gold, which is, as a senior gold producer and intermediate gold producer, respectively. We have great infrastructure in place, which we'll talk about later in the presentation. And even though we are a newly listed company, our relationship with the local community groups goes 10 years back. So our relationship with them is stronger than ever. We are early stage, not going to tell you otherwise, but as any mining investor knows very well, investments made in this stage of the game are usually the ones that generate the most spectacular returns. We are located in the heart of the Sierra Madre Occidental Gold Belt, very prolific gold belt that stretches all the way from the US-Mexican border all the way down to central Mexico. What we're focused on is really just a subsection of that belt. So within a 50-kilometer radius of where we are, there are 6 operating mines that were built within the last 15 years or so, and yet has already accounted for almost 8.5 million ounces of gold production. In the red there you see is our Santa Daniela gold project. It is 100% owned. We are literally next door neighbors with Alamos and Agnico Eagle. Hermosillo, which is the capital of Sonora, is approximately 225 kilometers to the west. And as we drive from Hermosillo to our property, we actually pass by both La India and Mulatos. From where we are drilling right now, we can literally see the open pit haul trucks moving back and forth the open pits on a daily basis. So we are that close. In terms of infrastructure, because there are these 6 operating mines in the region, all the mining infrastructure is already in place. We have water rights for 2 million cubic meters per year. There's an existing power line that runs directly through the property. And like I said, there's a government maintained road that connects us directly to Hermosillo. And because mining is such an important part of Sonora, and in particular the region which we are currently operating, there's a very healthy supply of geos, engineers, and miners. Everyone knows the path to producer status. It's pretty well defined. We are in the phase 1 of the mine development cycle, which in my opinion is also the most exciting phase because we get to unlock the exploration upside of the project. Truth be told, we're very cognizant of the fact that we are surrounded by these 6 producers that all have excess capacity at their processing facilities. We would be more than happy to take Santa Daniela into production ourselves, but at the same time, if any one of these producers wants to come in, pay a healthy premium to our shareholders and take us out, we would be more than happy to step aside. COVID is still top of mind. It's the virus that just doesn't seem to go away. I'm happy to say though, the COVID protocols that we have in place have safely kept the virus out for 8 consecutive quarters. And obviously the intention is to keep it that way. If you ever get a chance to walk the Santa Daniela Gold Project, you'll see a whole bunch of these old mine workings throughout the property. There really hasn't been any type of modern day exploration done since the 1600s when it was heavily prospected and mined by the Spaniards. But when our chairman took over the asset, he did put together a very small drill program, did some geochem and geophysics, but ultimately about 95% of the property remains unexplored. So our job as a management team at Ranchero is to pick up where the work started and to start unlocking the exploration potential of Santa Daniela. Maíz Azul is our most advanced target at Santa Daniela. So this is towards the northern part of the property where we have delineated 3 target zones at Maíz Azul: La Colmena, La Cascada, and the X structure. We are drilling. We started drilling in October of last year. and we will continue to drill this year, where our drill program will wrap up sometime mid Q1. Taking a look at Maiza Zoo, this is a long section of the 3 vein swarms at Maiza Zoo, La Colmena, La Cascada, and the X structure in relation to one another. Very happy to say we started putting out our first set of drill results in mid-January, and the first hole from our first drill program ever at Santa Daniela is a home run. 4 grams over 32 meters, and including a section of almost 10 grams over 12 meters. This is higher grade material than anything found in the region, and definitely a lot higher grade than some of the historical drilling that's been done. If you take a look at this section, I think it should be very clear that mineralization starts right at surface. And right now, mineralization is about only 50 meters from surface. And of course, in mining, as you know, the shallower, the better. La Cascada is one of the vein swarm towards the central part of Maiza Zoo. All 5 holes did hit gold mineralization, so we're very happy about that. La Cascada does have 2.5 times the footprint of La Colmena, so this is certainly an area that we'll continue to focus on. The X structure, unfortunately, we did not get a chance to drill it as part of the phase 1 program, but this is a 3rd priority target at Maiza Zoo, something that we'll be drilling in the second half of this year. One thing that we're obviously very excited about the discovery in Maiza Zoo. I'm very happy about that, but I think it's important to understand that Maiza Zoo only represents about 100 hectares. That's 100 hectares out of our total land package at Santa Daniela of more than 22,300 hectares, or less than 0.5% on a percentage basis. Obviously, drilling at Maiza Zoo is top of mind, but the second part of our work program involves investigating the other 47 exploration targets at the property and start investigating and assessing which ones we want to work on next. If you take a look at our neighbors, you'll quickly understand that we are surrounded by these multi-million ounce deposits. We're surrounded by about 7.3 million ounces of gold. And there's absolutely no reason why gold mineralization starts and stops at their property boundary. We have the same type of rocks, we have the same system. And this is why we're so confident that we will also be able to delineate a multi-million ounce deposit of our own. A question that we get asked more often than not, even though we're still pre-resource, is what kind of flow sheet do we envision for Santa Daniela down the road? Well, if you take a look at the region, there's an overlying oxide layer in the region that's about 150 meters in depth, but it does go deeper in certain areas. So not surprisingly, a lot of the mines in the region start off as these open pit heap leaches, and as they go deeper and they hit the higher grade material, they become underground mines. 2021 was a big year for the company. We finished the RTO, listed on TSX, and started our drill program. We expect to be very catalyst heavy in the first quarter of this year, as drill results will start coming out. This is the management team and board of directors at Ranchero Gold. Together, we have 175 years of mining and capital markets experience, so we definitely have the right team in place. This is our cap structure. I think the most important takeaway from the slide is the fact that board and management collectively own 60% of the stock. So we definitely have skin in the game, and we're definitely pulling in the same direction as our shareholders. This is the typical relative valuation slide where everyone tells you that their stock is cheap, it's undervalued, you should go out there and buy some. Well, I think it's also a great illustration of the fact that as we continue to de-risk the project, have exploration success, and move it towards production, you're looking at almost a 15 times increase in our market cap as we re-rate towards the midpoint of our peer group, which are these exploration development companies focused on open pit heap leach projects in America. Just to sum it up, so when you invest in Ranchero, you're investing in a board and management team that collectively has 175 years of mining and capital markets experience. Collectively, we've made 8 discoveries globally, representing more than 10 million ounces of gold. So we definitely have a knack of finding ounces on the ground. And like I said, we do have skin in the game. We are located in the right part of the world. We're surrounded by these 6 operating mines that produce almost 500,000 ounces a year. And we are surrounded by these multi-million ounce deposits. And this is why we're so confident that it's only a matter of time before we find a multi-million ounce deposit of our own. Thank you. That is a Ranchero gold story. I hope you guys have a great conference.